Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. Charlotte Flair released an amazing article she wrote for the Players Tribune. This article was titled, "How Am I Going to Be Charlotte Flair Today?" We all know the immense pressure it is to try and live up to the legacy of Ric Flair, and I think Charlotte Flair has done that incredibly, maybe better than any other sort of son or daughter of a high-profile elite performer in sort of any sport ever. I mean, you can look at any sport and you can see the son come through the ranks, and maybe none has done, or the daughter, excuse me, has done as well as Charlotte Flair. I mean, right now we have Shedeur Sanders coming up, and he is the son of Deion Sanders. Will he live up to the hype, to the pressure, all of that? Charlotte Flair has absolutely 100% done that. She is one of the, if not the greatest women's wrestler of all time. And there was just something that was maybe stopping me from fully connecting with her as an individual. And that's the point, right? She's Charlotte Flair. She's playing a character, but who really is Ashley Flair? And in this article, I have a deep amount of respect for her for sharing all of these vulnerabilities. She talks about her brother Reed quite a bit, and that was his dream to become a professional wrestler. It was his dream to become like Ric Flair, and that's really why Charlotte Flair followed in his footsteps. It wasn't because she wanted to be a wrestler, it's because she wanted to be with her brother, and she wanted to do what he was doing, right? We know, unfortunately, Reed passed away, and I deeply connect with that part because I've also lost a sibling. I lost my sister Rachel almost 7 years ago now. So I connect with Charlotte Flair in that regard about what it means to sort of want to live up to what your siblings wanted to do, their legacy, to live for them. You know, there's also always going to be a bit of survivor's guilt. This just is what it is. Like, why am I so happy? Why do I have a son on the way? Why am I happily married? Why am I so healthy? You know, when my sister was not, when she was unhappy, when she was struggling, when she had a sickness and an illness. And the same thing sort of goes for Reed and Charlotte Flair, or Ashley Flair. I should use her real name when I'm discussing such a real and vulnerable topic. But she shares that in this piece. You know, she shares a lot of great stories. She gets really vulnerable, really deep, and you really connect with Ashley Flair on a deeper level, which I think transfers into way more respect and admiration for Charlotte Flair, the WWE character. And there's one thing that stood out to me in terms of wrestling. Obviously, the story about Reed and all those vulnerabilities and trauma she shared really stood out to me personally. But when thinking about wrestling itself, this stood out to me really heavily because it was about the four horsewomen, excuse me. And so I want to read you this direct quote from the article that Charlotte Flair wrote talking about the four horsewomen. "We've definitely had our ups and downs over the years. I won't pretend we're best friends or even that we're all even friends at this moment. I won't pretend there's a four horsewomen group chat I'll send this article to when it publishes. And thinking about it that way, it does make me sad sometimes. But I also think it's part of life, you know, especially at the highest levels of professional competition. And on a professional level, the respect between the four of us is absolute. And the bonds we share are fucking indestructible. That's not another person alive who knows what we've been through as a group or what it's taken for all of us to still be active and still be at the top of our games as women working in the business that's still learning how to treat women. I have a different and perfect chemistry with each of them, and if I wrote about them individually, I'd be writing forever. So instead, I'll just say this one thing. This is very meaningful for me, and they'll always tie them together in my heart as a trio. I grew up in wrestling because of my dad. I got into wrestling because of my brother, but I fell in love with wrestling because of the horsewomen. I fell in love with wrestling because I fell in love with Becky, Bayley, and Mercedes as wrestlers, and nothing will ever change that. That's absolutely beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful thing to say about the four horsewomen who absolutely changed the whole dynamic of professional wrestling for women in the industry. There's just no arguing that absolute fact. Every woman that comes up now owes credit to the four horsewomen. And of course, there were women before that who paved the way for the four horsewomen to actually be possible. But these women just dialed in on their craft and earned it through merit, hard work, and effort, that they should be treated the same because their ability in the ring was the same. And yes, WWE and professional wrestling and maybe AEW and all of professional wrestling is still really learning how to treat women as really solid professional wrestlers, not as just sex symbols or sex acts. And the four horsewomen were the most important instrument in making that change. And so, yeah, maybe Bayley and Becky and Mercedes and Ashley are not all friends and great friends. There's not a four horsewomen group chat where they all, talk back and forth. I mean, Bayley and Becky and Charlotte all still work for WWE. Mercedes now works for AEW, and she's at the top of her game there as well. So maybe they all don't have a group chat, like Ashley said or Charlotte said. But the respect there is unbelievably powerful, and those four women are still at the top of their game. I mean, Bayley and Becky are in the #1 feud in WWE right now, heading into Evolution, which they'll probably main event in a triple threat match. I mean, Mercedes is about to go against Toni Storm and All In, and she is the champ at AEW, and so is Toni Storm. I mean, those women are the best thing that AEW offers. I mean, Toni Storm had the best story of the last year with Timeless Toni Storm. And then, of course, Charlotte is now teaming up with Alexa Bliss, and they're going for some tag team titles at Evolution as well. So all four women, even after all of they've done, after everything they've changed and accomplished and grown, and they're still at the top of their very top of their game. And it's just respect to their work ethic, their merit, their intensity, and their ability to perform in different areas, doing different things with different storylines and different bookings. Is just impressive, and it has to be stated. These women have to be given their flowers, and I'm so glad that Charlotte Flair is doing that in this article. But one of the things, again, that stood out the most to me is this quote, right? I grew up in wrestling because of my dad. I got into wrestling because of my brother, but I fell in love with wrestling because of the four horsewomen. She got into wrestling because of her brother. But what made her love it and stay in it and want to try to be the best to ever do it was the four horsewomen and their ability to change the absolute game. And I love that. So thank you, Charlotte Flair, Ashley Flair, for writing this beautiful, beautiful article, for pouring your heart into the world, for being vulnerable, for opening up. And I absolutely recommend everyone go check this article out. How am I going to be Charlotte Flair today? It'll give you a brand new perspective on wrestling, on how hard it is, on Ashley Flair and Charlotte Flair's life and upbringing, and it'll give you a deep respect for her and what she's been through. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.